I have a testimonial from serving in the U.S. military. And I imagine everybody throughout their own time or throughout their own era in their 20s and maybe as early as being a teenager, they had resistance about joining the military, or there was maybe even backlash from their family or friends. But I feel like it still remains to be the same. Like that you're going to be facing challenges, you're going to be facing resistance if you decide to enlist or commission in the U.S. military. And through the eras, the problems, like challenges, that's the same, but they vary given the time we're in. It's the same. It's like everybody's dealt with the challenges and the resistance. That's the same. That's what is identical. But because what's going on now, they vary. Like they vary based on what's going on right now in our era. But everybody has faced those challenges and resistances. I will say that it was one of the greatest decisions in my life to enlist in the U.S. military. And I look at people who haven't, and I see maybe how they communicate, and I almost have sympathy for them. I've bumped into many people who said they wish they would have joined, and I look at them like, man, it's like one big difference is I chose to sacrifice. I chose to sacrifice whatever it is you want to categorize that. I chose to sacrifice whatever, my comfort or these other things that I could have used as an excuse or explanation to myself to not join the military. And I chose to sacrifice, and now when I separate, or whenever that time is for somebody else, now you have all these benefits. And when you're in society, now you have all this still support because of your benefits, because of some type of pension, some disability pension, or because of your time in service, you have a pension for that. And now, like, you can attack society or be a more productive member of society and have all these benefits. Whereas when I separated from the military and I realized other people who did, like, wow, we're going through the same shit. But if you would have just chosen to enlist or commission, you would have been like far better off. You wouldn't have like the regret, or you wouldn't be still like stressed because you feel like you can't hit a stride in society. But on a spiritual level, what I've noticed is, especially for males, and females may want to test themselves as well, but it's like all males have this urge, this itch to want to unleash this warrior side of them. And very few people go into martial arts. Very few people enlist in the military. And it's like, you could do both of those. You could enlist in the military and do martial arts. And that's what I was doing while I was in the military. But it's like this benefit, or enlisting into the military, there is sacrifice, but the bigger picture, the long-term value cannot be equated to anything else. And then as you get older, maybe you start to realize you may not have wanted to go through those things at the time, like, oh, I would be better off doing this, or I don't want to give up drinking, or I don't want to give up this or that. But as we start to get older, we start to realize, or hopefully you begin to realize, it's important to practice that act of sacrificing for the better good, or for the benefit of something. Not all military branches in other countries have the benefits like we do in the U.S. military. And I highly recommend it, even if it doesn't make sense to you. I remember when I was joining, one of the primary reasons why I wanted to enlist in the military, I wanted to be around like-minded, motivated individuals. And I felt like in my environment, growing up in Chicago, that was not the case. And so I needed to isolate or immerse myself with those type of people. And for me, I knew it was going to be a few years. But that was like my primary reasoning. I may not get the perfect job or be at the perfect location, but it's worth it. And man, I'm proud of myself for having the courage. And I'm about to go to my acupuncture appointment, and somebody at the front desk is decided to go on that same journey to enlist in the world's greatest Air Force. I'm proud of her, and I wish her the best. And I know that she will be benefiting from accelerated growth and this like type of tempo that you start to learn, you start to adapt to when you're in the military. That's gonna help you with society or whatever business ventures you have when you separate from the military. It's a win situation. It's a win all around. And guess what? Just like in normal life, you don't know when your life's going to be taken, but sacrifice your life for something much more worthy. And sometimes we need that push like the military provides for us to get out of our comfort zone and get into our greatness and be part of something that's much bigger and larger than us.